Yes, people, welcome back to the Only Yaya. And on today's episode, of course, we had to break down the Fulham versus Manchester United encounter. Now, before we do that, let me just give a big shout out to Millers by the Sea. We're out here having not only a good time by the water where you can bring family, you can bring friends, but it's also a nice environment where you can come have some lunch on a good afternoon by the beach. So if you're down at Fort James area and looking for a really nice spot to have some good time with family, friends, and just for you even to just grab a drink and have a good vibe, come down to Millers by the Sea. Now let's jump into it. As you can tell, Manchester United taking on Fulham is going to be a big encounter. Both teams are in really good forms. Both managers seem to have a way of playing now that we can identify Carrick, how he wants to play, and we also know how Marcus Silva wants to play. Now both coaches are also very versatile and very adaptable, which is going to make this encounter even more entertaining in my opinion. You have a lot of players who are in form, i.e. Wilson, i.e. Cunha. You also have players who are going to be trying to now set themselves in the position in the starting 11, i.e. Sesko. So there's a few interesting things that's going to be happening within this game that makes this encounter very interesting. Now this is also one of the first games to see after all the hype behind Michael Carrick playing against two teams that they weren't actually favorites, and now this is the first game that they're favorites. I want to see how they react, especially at home. So are they going to go after Fulham? Are they still going to play on the counter attack? Is it going to be an adaptable type of football but progressive, in which when we win it we go forward quickly? What is he going to come with? Is it going to be a possession based style? Because we have to take the game to Fulham. We are at home. We are in the team in form, technically. So we have to go and attack the game and actually bring the game to Fulham. Now, this kind of suits Fulham in a way because you have players like Kevin, who in my opinion, in a year or two, is going to be one of the best wingers in the Premier League. No, and that is not me just hyping him up because I'm talking about this pre-match. This is me talking about just the small things he's been doing within the games that you can tell that this guy just wants a bit of physicality, because mentally his mentality is actually really there. He's actually a player that is going to develop. You can see it happening every game. So it's not like we're in a position where we can think that he's not developing. So this makes his trajectory a lot higher than probably what Fulham even thought. They probably thought we're getting a decent winger in. But as he has come into the league, since he played in that cup match, ever since then, every time I've watched Kevin play, yes, Fulham has had okay results. Yes, they're not in the top 4, but he as a player, top quality. 2-3 years, he's really going to be a top player. And Kevin is somewhat of the archetype or the prototype of what you can say a Somerville is. But for me, Kevin has the technicality to become even 10 times what Somerville is even right now, and he's in really good form right now. Now, sorry for a bit of the noise sometimes in the background. As you know, I'm in a public place, so you might get a bit of disturbances. But don't worry, we'll keep you focused and keep you entertained on what we need to talk about in this episode. So yeah, as you can see going forward, not only is Kevin a top player, but Harry Wilson is showing levels in which there's no doubt that he deserves to be talked about in the Prem right now as one of the best players. Currently, not ever, not last couple seasons. Currently, he is the best, one of the best players in the Premier League. Also, Bruno Fernandes is probably one of the best players to play in the Premier League. Probably one of the best players to play and never win a Premier League in the Premier League. And he's also in top form right now. You know, a lot of people try to have this debate about Bruno Fernandes or they always try to line up people against Bruno Fernandes. Yeah. Bring statistics, he dominates. Bring goals and assists, he dominates. bring running statistics, no matter what statistic you bring, he dominates, except his team winning major trophies. That is the problem. It's not Bruno Fernandes. It's not his agent. It's not him as a person. Is the club he plays for. That is the problem, because you can't have a midfielder who hit all the metrics in terms of chances created, most chances created, most assists, most goals as a midfielder throughout Europe for the last couple of years. You have most minutes played, most distance covered, like passing percentage in the 90 plus percentile. There's so many statistics that if you're like, son, watch a midfielder, these are the metrics you need to hit. This is the player you probably tell your child to watch. So it's we have to be fair. Like, we can't be talking about statistics when it comes to every other player, but then when it comes to the Bruno Fernandes debate, we're not having the statistic talk, because he's hitting all the metrics. The only statistic he's not hitting is trophies. Put Bruno Fernandes in any top team in the world, and I probably think he win a Ballon d'Or already. 300 games for Manchester United. The guy has 203 goals and assists together. That is a midfielder who plays in a terrible team. You have strikers who have 400-500 games and don't even hit 200 plus goal assists. He did this alone for Manchester United, which means now, think about what he did for Udinese. Think about what he did for Sporting. Those are included in those games, not goals. So Bruno Fernandes needs some respect. And one of the biggest things that people look and look past or bypass and close their eyes to is the subject or this thing about availability. Biggest thing about football is availability. Most coaches would pick a player who is average but available than pick a player who's class and can only play one in a blue moon. Maybe you bring that player out for the final because you need that little bit of magic. But most times a coach will find, or you call them a steady Eddie, somebody who gives you 8.0 all the time, sound footballer, always available, than you are a 10 out of 10 when you play every 6 weeks, every 12 weeks. That is what Dembele was. And now Dembele has created a sort of, he's gotten fitter, he's created an environment around him now where he can't play more games. You're seeing the levels in which he can hit. So Bruno Fernandes being available and fit for every game for Manchester United, I think he's only missed like 6 games. 6 games out of all the games. And he has so many goals and assists. This man is a quarterback. This man is the man that make United tick. And at the end of the day, if we don't appreciate who Bruno Fernandes is, I'm telling you, another man's trash is another man's treasure, right? So if we go and throw away Bruno Fernandes, some big team's gonna pick him up, and then he's just gonna go on, and he's just gonna go and smash records and win major trophies. Because let's not kid ourselves. Bruno Fernandes behind Haaland will do more damage. And I'm saying this, and people might say, oh yeah, boy, Imran, you're crazy. But I'm telling you right now, I ain't crazy. This is facts. Bruno Fernandes behind any top striker in the world might break the record for the most assists in world football in one European season. No doubt. I can see this man hitting 30, 40 assists. Easily 50 assists in a season if he plays behind Harry Kane, Haaland, Benzema, Vinicius Jr. or Mbappe, Lewandowski. These are the strikers. If Bruno Fernandes plays behind any of those strikers, he racks up 20, 30, probably 40 assists in one season. So we can't just hate on Bruno because, he's a United captain. We have to actually look at the statistics, the quality, how he impacts games without touching the ball. You remember that Dorgu assist when he didn't even touch the ball one time? and you just walk over the ball. How many times has Bruno done that? Just dummy balls or walk past balls, or just a little bit of brilliance, like a little bit of magic that you can't create your own. You can create that from watching football or understanding the game at a level where you can have the football IQ to make those decisions. But yeah, more about United. Now you have Sesko Cunha, not a bad player. Looks like he is probably gonna start, I think, on the wing for Dorgu. Now Dorgu has been having a really good season. Out for 10 to 12 weeks. Sad to see that, but I think we have a lot within our in our pocket to play players. I'm very excited to see a Josh Wazerski with a Sesko up front. Two big men, very different, but big players, technically sound. One can come to the ball, one likes to run the channel, one can play as a big man, both can play as a big man, but one link up is a lot better than the other. Now I think together, just to see them even against a team like at the bottom of the table, that you just need a bit of physicality against some weaker defenders, then it wouldn't really hurt for us to try something like different like that. I'm looking forward to see a Mason Mount. I'm looking in this game against Fulham. I feel like they're gonna be small pockets within the game that we can actually use and change things, and we can actually see a different United. Maybe try a 4-4-2 diamond. Maybe try a 4-4-2 flat. There's different things within the game that I feel like we can change and we can try so that we can find adaptability and be a bit more versatile. Because if we go on a run right now for the next couple of games and just get up to close to the second or the third position, we're in a real good position to solidify ourselves in the top four. Now everyone's talking about the title run, we're getting giddy. Arsenal won today 4-0, which means that they still can be called, but it means that United need to go and win tomorrow. City might drop points against Tottenham. Chelsea is losing right now. So there's a lot of things going around us that are working in our favor, which is why tomorrow's game is very important for us to win. But yes, people, it's been your boy Yaya coming to you live, as I said, from Millers by the Sea. As I said, people, if you're looking for a nice drink or some food on a day at the beach, it's by Millers by the Sea, Fort James. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the page. Keep it in the bell for notifications so I can keep bringing you great content going forward. Have a great time. Take care, my people. Ciao.